Hey everyone, welcome back to Perspectify, the place where we break down complex problems related to product growth and marketing for you. Today's episode is very special. We cover everything that there is to know about Blinkit advertising. Personally, both Dhruv and I have seen multiple startups come out of Blinkit and become huge successes and get huge ROI. Some examples are Mukubara, Family, The Whole Truth, and a bunch of others. So in today's episode, we're going to break down Blinkit ads into three parts. The first is, why should one care about it? Second, how are the top companies utilizing their platform to catapult their growth? Third, an in-depth look into Blinkit ad strategies and their inventories that work best in our experience. So with that said, let's perspectify the shit out of this.
So before we actually get into the mechanics of Blinkit ads, we first need to really understand and ask ourselves, why should one even care about Blinkit ads? Now, all of us know that quick commerce as of this moment is actually kind of blowing up. Blinkit, Swiggy, Instamart, and Zepto are kind of ruling in this market currently. And as a result, the big players in the e-commerce industry, such as Flipkart as well as Amazon, have either already entered the quick commerce battle or are going to launch very soon. And as of today, the largest player in the quick commerce industry is actually Blinkit. And another interesting fact is that Blinkit's revenue from ads actually outpaced the order value. So if you look at the December quarter, you'll realize that Blinkit ads actually grew by 220% year on year.
So Rakshit, let's talk about when should one actually consider Blinkit in their advertising arsenal, right? And the question for me really boils down to what is your target market? In the case of Blinkit, what we have seen is that their AOV is substantially higher than a lot of platforms, which stands at around 607 rupees, right? So that indicates that a lot of the cream audiences are on this platform. You could argue that they are bumping up their AOV by adding iPhone and all sorts of other things, but the point at the end of the day is still that this is a platform where consumers are spending a lot of money and are able to afford higher order value items, right? So it clearly shows that there is a presence of a cream audience in this marketplace. Another interesting thing is that their engagement rate is also significantly higher than a lot of the platforms. You could consider a platform like Amazon. Now, how often do you and me actually go and buy something on Amazon? Probably once a month. That's when you engage with the app. That's when you can see the ads, right? So the problem there is that the impressions on the platform, or you could say the engagement rate on the platform, is much lesser for an average consumer. But in the case of Blinkit, where you and me are ordering groceries pretty much on a hourly basis or probably a daily basis, right, the engagement is significantly higher. So me and you are there on the platform much more, and the chances of me seeing an ad is also much higher, right? So all in all, the engagement rate is high, and it makes more sense for a person to advertise here, simply because there's more chance of your ad being seen, right? So that's another interesting thing. Even let's even look at the weekly retention rate for Blinkit, which is at 50%, right? So it seems pretty obvious that there's a lot of people, a lot of loyal customers coming back to the platform again and again.
Yeah.
Right. So another interesting thing, Rakshit, is that according to Blinkit's team itself, a lot of their audiences are young, affluent individuals who are travel savvy, who are financially curious. Their gender is very balanced between male and females. And I think all in all, you can look at this screenshot on the screen, which will give you an idea of if this fits into your target market or not. If you are in D2C already and have already launched on Blinkit, I think it's pretty much a no-brainer for you to incorporate Blinkit ads into your strategy, simply because you won't always rank higher, right? And although me and Rakshit could probably speculate what the ranking algorithm looks like on Blinkit, even we personally don't know, right? Commonly in marketplaces, how it works is it's kind of a flywheel effect, but in Blinkit, it may be completely different. So the point is really that if you rank well, then great. If you don't rank, then you should obviously consider Blinkit ads into your strategy, right? And I think in case you are a company that is just exploring inventories of Blinkit, where you have not launched your product on Blinkit. So let's say if you're even like a fintech brand or probably any other brand which doesn't have like a D2C product, what you can simply do is you can use inventories on the advertising on their platform. So I don't know if you know this, Rakshit, but let's say when you order something on Blinkit, at the on the order screen when your order is placed, there are like these carousel ads kind of showing up on the top, and then there are these link ads somewhere in the bottom. Right, so that's where other companies can explore opportunities to advertise. Right now, whether you should do that or not, as I said, one is it boils down to the target market approach. Second, I personally am a big proponent of something I call something that is called a spray and pray approach, where you launch a basic, minimum viable ad on different platforms like Google, Meta, and you see what's working, right? And the moment you see that it's taking off to some extent, you try and evolve a strategy and build more on it, right? And I think the same thing you can probably do on Blinkit, where you can test waters, you can launch a basic creative, and you can see whether you're getting clicks, whether you're getting users, whether you're getting prospects, and then probably double down on it.
Yeah.
So Rakshit, I think on the Perspectify community, where we discuss a lot of things in general, one user actually asked us, what is the comparison of advertising on platforms like Blinkit versus a Zepto and Instamart? And I felt that was a very interesting question. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you actually look at the entire quick commerce market, right, you can basically break it down. As I said, Blinkit owns the majority of the pie. It's in the range of 40 to 45%. Instamart owns 32%, Zepto owns 28%. But as I said, that this market is expanding. Flipkart has come in with Flipkart Minutes, and Amazon is set to enter in 2025, right?
Interesting.
What's interesting over here is that because these platforms are relatively new, they're willing to experiment with their users, and they are willing to work with brands to give a special experience to their customers. So, for example, if you actually look at an ice cream brand called as Go Zero, they actually partnered with Zepto, where anyone who ordered above, let's say, $2.99 or a certain threshold, they would actually get a free ice cream along with it. So they actually partnered with Zepto to build all of these.
And Rakshit, we also saw a similar campaign done by Farmly and Blinkit, wherein Farmly and Blinkit kind of partnered together, launched a lot of video campaigns that went up on Blinkit and again was advertised on Blinkit, was used on the social media platforms. So it's not just the fact that, people, the platforms are partnering with these products, but also the fact that they are, it's like a partnership by itself, right? Where, where a Blinkit would probably advertise, let's say a Mokobara, right? When they partner with Mokobara, they probably advertise a Mokobara on Albinder's social media and on other platforms, right? So it's essentially a partnership, and this is something that is not being offered by the big marketplaces like an Amazon, even like a Meta or Google, for example, right? These are platforms that don't offer these facilities.
And if you think about it, we are totally not telling you to not advertise on Amazon. If we look at Amazon's number this year, they own 7.5% market share in the global advertising space. Last year they actually did like $45 billion just in ad sales. So Amazon in itself is a very, very big marketplace where obviously if you market and advertise, then the results could be really big. But the personalized experience that you would get in something in a place like Blinkit or Zepto is something that you can't expect from a behemoth like Amazon or a Flipkart. Which is why if you're a smaller brand, it would actually make sense to be on Blinkit rather than on Flipkart or Amazon.
So Rakshit, now let's get to the meat of the video, which is, kind of D2C advertising on Blinkit, right? So if you are a platform that has launched on Blinkit already, this is for those businesses primarily, right? So Blinkit offers two major options. One is your reach campaigns and one is your performance campaigns, which is very typical for any advertising platform that we have, kind of seen. traditionally seen. Now, in the reach campaigns, you have the opportunity to offer more brand awareness and probably rope in a lot of share of voice on these platforms, right? Versus performance campaigns where you can kind of get a bang for the buck through actual prospects being generated, right? So briefly looking at what is offered under the performance campaigns. So you have items like a product booster ad where you can bid on a specific keyword to show your product. This is like the most common form of advertising where you directly bid on specific keywords and you get in front of the right consumers that you feel should be reached out to, right? Then you have a brand shelf where you can offer a product catalog under one section. Then we also have something very interesting, which is called a cart injection. So basically, let's say you are at your cart page, and you're almost going to place the order. That's when they'll pop up an ad ki you can add this particular product also in your basket, right? Which is very interesting because if you realize this, these are advertising features that are very Blinkit, a very 10-minute delivery marketplace specific, right? These are not kind of options that are always offered on other marketplaces or in the case of other platforms, right? So that's interesting, right? And in terms of the reach campaigns, they have things like spotlight ads where you can show a carousel of your product on specific pages. You have display ads, which is your typical banner ads in various sections of these pages, right? So largely these are the kind of campaign options that are being offered. And I think if you are looking to explore how all of this works, you should obviously reach out to the Blinkit team to figure out. And they will probably give you a good dashboard and all the set of tools required to execute all these campaigns.
One point over here is that if, let's say, you don't have the budget to advertise on Blinkit, or if you're not very sure of whether Blinkit ads work or don't work, one interesting thing that at least I'm seeing on my Instagram and Facebook feed is that a lot of D2C brands are actually using Meta and Meta ads or Google ads and redirecting the customer to Blinkit's app. The reason I think there are three reasons for it, right? First is that the probability of converting a user really fast and for the consumer to experience your product really fast is only possible through Blinkit or Zepto or Instamart. The second reason is that this can be a very high ROI activity. So what that essentially means is that the impression to conversion, because the delivery time is in 10 to 15 minutes, can be extremely useful for you. And the third, and this is purely an assumption on the basis of what I think or how I think they would essentially rank your product, Blinkit essentially ranks product, is that if Blinkit algorithm realizes that there are a lot of people going to your product page, or there is a high amount of traffic to your product page, they would automatically boost your rankings organically. So you don't essentially have to pay Blinkit use the pay-per-click campaigns of Blinkit, and you can use this hack to test out whether Blinkit as a platform even works for you or not. Another thing that you should do if you have a limited budget is that you should focus on really cracking festivals. So what we've seen is that Blinkit, Zepto and Instamart really start advertising a lot or putting up a lot of posts when there are festivals nearby, because they've realized and this is common across Indian consumption, right? That there are certain periods where your consumption increases dramatically. Those can be Diwali, those can be Raksha Bandhan, where you tend to spend more. So you can essentially place your ads during that time so that you can get maximum ROI out of it.
Yeah.
But I would preface that with saying that during Diwali, during all of those things, people would be bidding more on these kind of campaigns. So the
100%.
cost might be
100%.
higher.
I think honestly, working in marketing, I mean, for quite a while now, you could have 100, kind of plans and case scenarios, but it really comes down to once you put things on paper, once you execute them, you'll really get to know what's working and what's not working.
Yeah.
So there's no point in preempting a lot of things, but definitely, testing an idea, definitely working on holidays, pushing ads, then makes 100% sense, right?
Yeah.
So, Rakshit, now I think we can talk about the second case, which is for any regular companies, as I said, who have not launched on Blinkit, but are just looking to leverage this consumer base for their own products, right? Now, interestingly, I have done this for my own company, and here's how it roughly works, right? Now, Blinkit team, you have to connect with the Blinkit team. If they think you're big enough, they'll probably connect with you. And what they'll offer you is basically 2 or 3 inventories that you can use. One is your banners on top of, so it's largely about the order page itself. That's where they're offering these features. So if you know, Rakshit, like if you ordered something, as I said initially in the video, that at the end of the orders, on the order screen itself, you'll find all these different ads popping up that are not about the products on Blinkit, but it's like a SBI credit card, or like HDFC has done something, Max has done something. It's like all kind of different companies exploring advertising here. Now, here they're offering again 2 types of campaigns, the same exact thing, reach and performance. In case of reach, there's only one or 2 major options, which is a display campaign where a display carousel shows at the top of the order screen. The second is a performance campaign, which is basically a link. It's a very, very small banner that pops up right below your order screen. And with some basic copy, you can launch a simple campaign. Now, giving you guys some very, very personalized insights here, there are some limitations, some problems. One being the fact that Blinkit will probably take a minimum commitment of probably 50,000 to 1 lakh rupees. So you cannot just start off with a 10,000 rupees per day model, because in the case of Blinkit, they don't have a lot of targeting options set up in the advertising model at the moment. So essentially what they'll offer you is a quick advertising pop-up on Blinkit for probably an hour or two, pan India, or probably in certain regions, right? So it will bulk push your ads to a lot of people in one shot. So problems here are, if you're a business that has certain timings attached, with your service. So let's say if it's like a 8 a.m. to a 5 a.m. service or something like that, you'll have to be very, very cautious with when you launch on Blinkit, what time is kind of working for you. Because in the case of Blinkit, what we are seeing is that timing plays a crucial role. And also the highest engagement on the platforms usually come on, these important occasions, like let's say an IPL match, right? That's when a lot of people are ordering huge amounts, right? That's when you probably want to be advertising on this platform. So you have to be very cautious with the timing here, probably see if it kind of fits with your business. And as I said, there's a minimum amount requirement. So you can't just start with the 5,000 rupees per day model like you can do on Google or Meta. So I think those are probably the limitations. And another thing is also the fact that you have to use a very, very small copy if you are using performance campaigns. So all in all, this is something you can test if you already understand what copy works for you as a brand. And that's when you should probably explore this feature.
I think just to summarize your point, I feel that what you're saying is that this is more of a brand advertising exercise, and for a regular company, this may not actually lead to direct results in the number of users going and testing out your product and all of those things. But I think there can be certain exceptions in this case. For example, there are some services or businesses that are natural fit to what you would essentially explore on Blinkit. For example, if you look at Netflix, right? Netflix, if someone buys popcorn or if let's say Netflix says that show our ads on a Saturday night, right? That would make complete sense for that particular company. So I think the way to really figure it out is what kind of a ad are you actually looking for in your company, and whether that is a natural fit with Blinkit's platform or not.
Yes, exactly. And I think the final thing we can quickly talk about is some drawbacks of the platform. Very quickly, as I said, one is the limited targeting options. This is across both your both D2C advertising as well as any regular company advertising. There are not a lot of options as offered on Meta or Google. Not a lot of A/B testing options, kind of given. Not a lot of audience interest segmentations. So all in all, this is a limited platform in terms of targeting options. Second is the fact that there's a lot of competition also at this point in time. So even if you want to take a test, you can order something on Blinkit right now. You'll see a lot of ads popping up on your order screen because a lot of people are heavily trying to kind of brand themselves on these new platforms. So in terms of competition, a lot of people are trying to launch on this platform in terms of ads. So there might be a lot more work required to stand out in general. And the last thing is also tracking the ROI can be slightly tedious because the user journey and there's a lot of limited integration that is kind of offered through the analytical tools on the platform. So you can't use GA, for example. There's no option to connect conversion events. So all in all, it can be a bit of a struggle to also check exactly what ROI is coming through these campaigns. But without that, I think that being said, it's still a platform that me and Rakshit are personally very bullish on in terms of ad spends. Simply because of great AOV, a lot of people engaging on the platform on a daily level, and all in all, a lot of brands also trying this at large scale. So with that said, if you liked the episode so far, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. We also run a community called the Perspectify community. It's a WhatsApp channel you can join free of cost. And with that said, we'll meet you guys next time. Bye bye.
Perspectify, yeah, we're on a quest.